That's like bordering on like, should I say this or not? I don't know how we got to that point in society. It's like a piece of information not many people know. This is gonna be the end of me. One huge tip I have. Randomly got asked to a party. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Elsa, and today's video is going to be, as you can probably tell by the title, as well as my little shirt, it's gonna be a Baylor video. We're gonna sit down, have a nice chit-chatty conversation, and I'm really excited just to kind of answer y'all's questions you sent in. I'm also just gonna be talking about my freshman year just experience, some things that I did not vlog on YouTube, so this is exclusive content you are getting. Thank you again so much for all of your support on this channel. It really means the world to me. I'm just super excited to continue growing this community, so make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can be part of our little YouTube family, as well as follow me on Instagram if you're not already, because I post lots of stuff on there that I don't post here on YouTube. I'm gonna try to keep this nice and short and succinct, so you get the most out of your time here with me today. I think that's about it for the intro, so let's just get into it. Alright, so I thought I would start off and just kind of give you a little story time. I know everyone loves stories, at least I do, so I hope this will be entertaining and valuable just to hear my experience freshman year and just like how I would really sum it all up. Obviously, if you guys have been here for a while, you may have watched some of my vlogs, my move-in, first day, weeks in my life. Okay, it's August 2022. I am super excited. We drove down, I moved in I think on a Wednesday. We drove up to wherever my dorm was, and all these people help you unload. As a freshman, that is a big perk you get assisted move-in. It is so hot when you move in. Usually it's probably like 90s to even 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and for me, I didn't meet my roommate till I stepped into the dorm that day. We had texted, I guess I filled out a form and we matched on this roommate matching thing. She gave me her number and I texted her back, and then that's kind of how we became roommates. Probably remember her, Izzy, if you have been watching my channel for a while. I know some people find other people on Instagram. Honestly, everything was just so last minute for me. I didn't even know where I was gonna go to college even in April of my senior year, but God, you know, really worked it out, so I'm super thankful for that. Back to moving. We got all these college students hauling all my stuff up the dorm stairs. I walk in, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like new surroundings, new everything, new people, people's parents. It's kind of a chaotic time, and you just have to be like prepared for that. You oftentimes don't really have control over a lot of things, so you just kind of have to like leave it to God. Then my parents left. You know, I wasn't actually that sad because I knew I would see them, you know, at winter break, but it didn't really hit me till a bit later that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm by myself. I don't have to tell someone like, oh, I'm going out. And also when I got dropped off, I randomly got asked to a party. I just got dropped off. My parents just left me, and now people are asking me to go to a party. I'm like, this is not my personality. I'm just gonna be like super like honest. I don't really believe in partying like that, and there are so many better ways and other ways that you can have fun that do not involve drinking, underage, and like partying and doing like stupid stuff. No attack to anyone who does that. That's a personal conviction. Do not feel pressured to like go to parties and go to things that you don't really want to go to. So I would just like want to throw that out there. I do remember when I got dropped off that I felt pretty alone, but at Baylor, they do a wonderful job of welcome week activities. If you're here for the fall semester, they pack your week of move-in full of fun things to do to get to know people. That was so valuable for me, so I'm not just like sitting in my dorm room crying, upset, and sad that I'm no longer with my parents. Do a great job of scheduling fun activities. Sometimes there are major meetings where you can go and just like meet people in your major, and that's all before classes start. So as a freshman, you kind of move in quite early compared to everyone else. Probably the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life was after like the first day of move-in, because I was just so exhausted. And then if you guys don't know, I am currently a communication and violin performance major, and I had my audition for Baylor Symphony Orchestra. That was on Saturday, so I move in like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I have to unpack and do all that while practicing for the audition on Saturday, and I wish it didn't have to be that way because it puts a lot of undue pressure on musicians. But just know that that's kind of the timing that has to happen. You can go into the music school. I had already been there though for my audition because I auditioned in person as a senior in high school, so I kind of knew my way around. But if you don't, like, don't worry, there are tons of super nice students. That is one thing I wish I would have done more of freshman year. I really didn't decorate at all. Like, my walls were bare and it was so sad. My roommate did a fantastic job of decorating, so her decorations kind of like fulfilled my decoration desires, I guess. Like, you want it to feel like home, you want it to feel like your personality in the room, and I wish I would have done that from the start, especially because once classes start, there is really little time. Don't be like me and just like hope for the best. Saturday, they've got welcome week activities. That was the day I auditioned. And then if you're in the marching band, unfortunately, you have to come early for like band camps. On Sunday, I went to church. There's tons of churches to choose from. Got ready for classes to start on Monday. One huge tip I have: print out on paper all your syllabi for all your classes. Staple them all together, and you're gonna 3-hole punch it. And then you're gonna put it in a 3-ring binder. And you're gonna have, let's see, like one binder for like 1 or 2 classes, and then another binder for another 1 or 2 classes. It is just such a great method. It's so good because you can always add more like notebook paper to it. Oftentimes what would happen with me is I would fill out these notebooks halfway, but then a new class would come and I'd be like, oh, I need a new one. And then you end up wasting because you're just using half a notebook. You just put in your sheets of paper whenever you need it into the 3-ring binder. Probably gonna end up doing that for my entire college years. I know there are a lot of people out there who are very like, I don't use paper. If you're one of those people, totally get you. But also, just saying, studies show that there's a lot more retention and memory from doing things on paper. So just something to like throw out there. The night before classes, you really want to know where everything is going. You do not want to be disorganized when it comes to papers. As it comes to school books, don't order them from Baylor Bookstore. Some of them are very hard to find elsewhere, so you might have to. Sometimes you can get them on Amazon, or you can get them used from different sites. I know it's slightly more hassle, but in the long run it saves you so much money, and you don't even have to order them right away. A lot of professors give you like a 1 to 2 week grace period where like if you don't have the book, they will provide copies of things to you until you get the book. For me as a freshman though, I did, and for me that was a good decision because I was very anxious about that. So you kind of just have to decide, like, are you kind of that person that can like wait and be okay, or are you that type of person that you'll be really anxious if you don't have it yet? And obviously as the semesters go on, you'll kind of figure out what works for you. Let's talk about the first day of class, because this is literally the part everyone is so excited for. I, did all the things like picking out my outfit the night before, kind of packing my bag. First class ever in college was Theory 1. I was so overwhelmed. Like, this was a different language to me. I did not even feel like a musician. I walked out of that class thinking, this is gonna be the end of me. Everyone had already had theory before. I just didn't understand how I could even be a musician and yet not know this stuff. Do not feel like you are less than when you go into a class. You are probably gonna have some imposter syndrome, some like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not smart enough to be in this class. Like, why am I even here? How did I even get into Baylor in the first place? And just know that God is with you through it all. No worries if you need tutoring, if you need to ask the professor for help, if you need to go in early for this or that. So normal. So I just wish that I would have told my freshman self, just chill out. I think sometimes in our world we can get really hung up on who knows more than someone else. So don't compare and just go in the first day and just be super, super happy and excited to be there. So I want to talk a little bit about how to know where you're going on campus. I would really recommend the night before classes start, so on that Sunday, walk your classes. At least try to see the general area where it is at. If you've gone to line camp or orientation in person, hopefully you already have somewhat of a map in your head. I personally did not go to either one of those. Walk your classes. It really just alleviates a lot of stress on the first day of class, and it's kind of a fun activity to do as well. Like you and your roommate can just like take some friends and just like walk your classes. Depending on your class load for that day of school starting, it can feel really draining. So don't worry if you're really tired or something, you will get used to it. I just remember vividly, I'm like, my calves hurt so bad because I was just not used to walking that much. If your feet hurt, that is actually really normal. A few things that really stuck out to me, like activity wise, definitely football games. Those were really fun to go to. And as freshmen, you get those like, what do you call it? sideline, is that it? Sideline seats, or you're really close to the field. Y'all wear your line jerseys and you get to run the line, and you have to get a ticket though. Basically, you just go on Baylor, type in Baylor football tickets for students, click on student, put in your ID. You basically wait in line in the queue. There's only so many tickets though that have run the line. So that's why like right at 4 p.m. on that Monday, you'll just kind of have to like wait and just try to get those football tickets. And then hopefully you can get a run the line ticket if you want to run. If you don't, there will be other games, and they usually try to make sure that like the people who want to run the line can run the line. That's kind of like a logistical thing that I had no idea about. I was very surprised that a lot of girls really dress up. It almost looks like Sunday best. It's kind of weird. They wear like dresses. That was very unique. I think it's a southern thing. But yeah, football games were really fun, and homecoming was super fun. I never went to the homecoming parade, but I did go to the football game, and I just like enjoyed all the little activities they had. I also really enjoyed Christmas on 5th. Now, I didn't get to go very long because Baylor Christmas was like on the same day as Christmas on 5th. A Baylor Christmas is where all the orchestra and choir members get together and make this huge Christmas production. There's lots of beautiful music, and it's honestly such a blessing to have, and so many people really enjoy it. They've even televised it. If I could say one thing to a freshman or like a student who's thinking about coming to Baylor, I would say first off, no school is perfect. There are things that every institution deals with. As you guys know, I was nutrition science, but then I switched to communication, which I'm really loving. Don't even hold yourself into this like you're locked into whatever major you chose. I switched my major. I kind of thought it would be the end of the world, but it wasn't, and it ended up being something that I really enjoy, and I'm really blessed that the Lord like helped me make that decision. Things can change. You can change your major. You can change your major again. But now I'm gonna transition to answering y'all's questions. I wrote y'all's questions down in my bullet journal. I am in the process of making a cute cover, and I thought I would just answer them just honestly. And again, all of this is my opinion. Just keep that in mind as I answer y'all's questions. First question is, how was your adjustment from high school to college? High school, I just did not want to be there. I was so over high school. I feel like I was over high school when I was like in the middle of 10th grade, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not good. I still have like 2.5 years left. Academics were fine. It was really just the people that were really difficult to interact with. Felt very lonely. Don't feel like I belong here. I felt like no one understood me, and I would try to be friendly and no one would really care. Even at my church, it was pretty bad. I was just so excited for, you know, that fresh, clean slate. Loved the fact that I barely knew anybody there. It was a little bit interesting, obviously, living with a new person because I've never met this person before. I'm like sleeping in a room with a stranger. I think the hardest part for me to adjust to though was just the fact that my parents weren't there. So you just have to go through that phase of like, oh, like I'm by myself, like my family's not here. Know that there's no timeline for adjusting. It's not like, okay, after 2 weeks, you will feel better. It's very individualized. Don't really, give yourself a hard time if it's taking you a little longer. Don't give up. So my adjustment though was pretty smooth overall. I would say that I definitely missed my family more the second semester than the first semester. And I also had to adjust to just the energy that I needed to give every single day. It's weird. I'm kind of an introvert, and so when I'm constantly surrounded by people that I have to talk to all the time, I love people so much, but at the end of the day, sometimes I'm really drained. So it's definitely like a balancing thing, but don't worry, you will definitely get the hang of it. All right, this next question is, how do you find a fellowship/small group quickly? I actually was part of a little Bible study on campus. Now I do a little Bible study through my church. As a freshman, you'll have to take 2 semesters of chapel. It's not really a small group. It's really just check it off. One that I would really suggest though is Vertical. It's not really a small group thing. It's really much like a worship service. It's Monday nights at 9 p.m. Definitely something that's been a real encouragement to me. So for small groups and just like fellowship groups in general, I would either look into like Crew on campus or your church, wherever you find a church in Waco. There's this other thing called RUF, Reformed Christian Fellowship. I've gone a few times. It was great. I just didn't really have time for that, as well as like doing another Bible study. As far as like finding it quickly, sometimes it will be quick and that's great. Sometimes it will take a little bit of time. Don't like try to rush it either, because you want to end up somewhere that is helpful for your walk with Christ. That's a great thing that you want to like get plugged in. That's honestly, I can't recommend that enough to freshmen. Really important to get around a community of believers. Check your church and check different organizations. Next question is, are there many non-Christian students at Baylor and how can they get adapted? A lot of them claim Christianity or some form of Christianity, but there is a good chunk that is not religious or just doesn't share that same Christian belief. It's not very hard to get adapted in general, whether you're Christian or non-Christian. Christianity is never forced upon people. And so Baylor does a fantastic job of just making everyone feel very included in their family. All right, question number 4, favorite dining hall. I know that where I lived, Penland was like closer to me, but I would say Memorial. And I think I've heard that from a lot of people. Memorial Dining Hall has pretty good food as well as their cookies. I can't really eat them though because I can't have gluten, but I've heard their cookies are really good. Memorial Dining Hall, if you go to the gluten-free section, on Mondays, at least when I went, it was meatless Mondays. So I was a bit like disappointed because I like my meat. It's like a piece of information not many people know. Anyway, that is just like a side tangent, but I would say Memorial for sure. This next question, any tips to choosing classes? To be honest, you don't really get to choose them at this point in your college career. It's more like, here's a list of things to do it. Now, I'm in my junior year and I did get to choose some of my classes, but for the first couple years, most likely you won't get to like choose unless it's one of those things that you can pick from this list and you just pick whatever is interesting to you or what you think fits best with your schedule. Next question is, best way to make friends at Baylor? Just be friendly, be yourself, and talk. I know a lot of people are like shyer, and I was honestly kind of one of those people, especially in high school. But when I went to Baylor, I was like, Elsa, you're done being like this quiet girl. I think a lot of people are afraid to say what's on their mind, or they're afraid to kind of just say hi to a stranger. I don't know how we got to that point in society. Smile, make eye contact, ask their name, say their name to them. But if someone says, hey, Elsa, when they say my name, I'm automatically more receptive to what they're saying. There's probably some psychology behind that. Ask about the other person and just showing interest in someone, and it really just organically flows from that. A lot of the time it's very spontaneous. For me, sometimes I'll just see the same person at the gym over and over, and then finally one of you says hi to each other, and then you're like gym buddies. Things like friendships, it's not overnight, and I'm still finding my people at Baylor. If you don't have like this group of people, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Don't let the fear of rejection stop you from being friendly. If someone doesn't like you, it is not the end of the world. There are thousands of other people on campus. All right, a music student who I'm assuming is a violinist asked me, how are the violin professors at Baylor? So if you guys don't know, I'm a violinist as well. They both really care about you as an individual. Both are excellent players. They really help you hone your music skills and really take you to the next level. And that's something that not every person can do. How rigorous is Christian scriptures? Scriptures as well as heritage, Christian heritage are, I guess, like notoriously difficult classes. Really depends on your professor. I had a very hard teacher for both, so I would definitely look them up on Rate My Professor or BU Books and just look them up and see what people have to say. I learned a lot and I'm actually really thankful that I took the class. All right, last question. What would you have liked to know before being a music student at Baylor? Oh, that's like hard. That's like bordering on like, should I say this or not? I think I would have liked to know that people are actually really competitive. In high school, music was always something super fun for me to do. Obviously, there's competition, but I think I was a little bit surprised at Baylor just how competitive music actually can be. I've had to really check my heart, making sure that I'm not losing my spark and joy for music because of people who are ultra competitive. I'm playing for one audience. I'm not playing for other people. There are people who are kind of sometimes just looking for you to mess up, and that's just the reality. It's really like that everywhere you go in the world, whether it's at Baylor or a different university. I'm not trying to trash anyone or the school or anything like that, but it is just a reality. Do you want to be someone who's like ultra competitive, who doesn't have good sportsmanship, or do you want to rise above that? Really, you can be the change. And so I encourage everyone who's doing music or anything to really think about that and just be like, I can really make a difference. All right, that is all the questions you guys asked me, and I hope that the beginning part of this video, story time of my freshman year, was helpful. Again, I am just so excited for you to embark on this new journey. You've worked so hard at graduating high school and working all through high school just to get to this point in your life. You are here for a reason. God has you right in the palm of his hand. And again, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, and please like this video if it at least helped you somewhat. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you guys in another one really soon. Bye.